Hi there, it's Karen. Happy Halloween to you from Whiskey as well. Say Happy Halloween, Whiskey. I'm not going to talk today, nothing, just not a word. I'm doing nothing this weekend. I'm not dressing up, I'm not doing anything, I'm relaxing. I've already watched Edward Scissorhands and The Crow, and probably watched some other little scary flicks that I got in the back there, some Jack Skellington thing. That's going to be my weekend, because I need that. I just need it. I feel like the industry is a little quieter this weekend, phones aren't ringing and stuff, so I'm just taking the weekend just to chill. Thank you for all the comments on the two hands in the pumpkin photo. That is me, that is not my daughter. Better clarify that. I don't have a daughter. And that's me when I was a little girl. I might have been 4 or 5. So that is the photo that I refer to when I'm talking about the childhood spirit, and it felt really good to just get two hands in there. Halloween was a very exciting time of year, but pumpkin carving season especially was a big deal, because my mother would make it a big deal. It would, right from the seeds in the ground to the vines coming up to the pumpkins coming up green and then turning orange, and she would take us out into the garden often to watch all this going on, like almost like a time-lapse camera in my mind. And she would take us out and get us really pumped about it, so that by the time we actually got to put both hands in that pumpkin, it was a really big deal. And having 3 siblings, we'd all be around the table just whipping guts, and it would just be crazy, and she'd be on the sidelines coaching us on to just get messier and messier. And then we'd have to separate the seeds to make the roasted pumpkin seeds in the oven, and that was awesome too. And I always remember the following day going to school or whatever, where you'd everybody would put the seeds into these little baggies to take to school with them. And that was pretty cool. So thank you for all your nice comments. That's me, not my little girl or niece or anything. That is me. Today I want to read an article to you that was a really feel-good article this morning. And it's called An Award to Artist Who Gives Slums a Human Face. It's a little long. Maybe not wouldn't have gone with such a long title, but that's what they call it. It's not common for important philanthropic prizes to go to people whose work involves criminal trespass and who make statements like the following: "You never know who's part of the police and who's not." Not a good start for philanthropy, right? But the TED Conference, the California Lecture Series, named for its roots in technology, entertainment, and design, said on Tuesday that it planned to give its annual $100,000 prize for 2011, awarded in the past to figures like Bill Clinton, Bono, and the biologist E.O. Wilson, to the Parisian street artist known as J.R., a shadowy figure who has made a name for himself by plastering colossal photographs in downtrodden neighborhoods around the world. The images usually extol the local residents, to whom he's become a Robin Hood-like hero. For most of the recipients, the value of this 6-year-old award has less to do with the money than with the opportunity it grants the winner to make a wish, to devote these funds to a humanitarian project that will almost inevitably draw donations and help from other organizations, corporate partners, and influential supporters. The chef Jamie Oliver, in 2010, who is the prize winner, he recently proposed setting up an international effort to further his campaign against obesity. Mr. Clinton's wish was which has channeled significant resources toward the creation of a rural health system in Rwanda. Reached by telephone on Wednesday morning on a bus in Shanghai, where he was headed to work a largely unauthorized photo pasting project to draw attention to the city's demolition of historic neighborhoods, J.R. said that he had learned of the prize only 2 weeks ago and that he had not yet had time to think of his wish. But he said that it would undoubtedly involve his kind of guerrilla art, which he has been creating with the help of volunteers in the slums of Brazil. He's also been in Cambodia and Kenya, where the outsized photographs printed on the waterproof vinyl will also double as new roofs, which I thought was very cool, for ramshackle houses. "I'm kind of stunned," he said of the prize. "I've never applied for an award in my life and didn't know that somebody had nominated me for this." I think it's very cool that somebody outside of his circle nominated him. You know, somebody just noticed that he was doing this and nominated him for this for an award. And I think there are people like that. It kind of inspires me to think about people that I could maybe be nominating for the same kind of things, because there are some people who just never get in the news for doing things like this. Good news all the time. At a time when street art is being embraced not only by the art world, but by branding interests. It's like, is Coca-Cola going to go out there and start graffiti art? JR, who dislikes being called a street artist, preferring the term photographeur, graffeur is French for graffiti artist, has been known for rejecting corporate sponsorship offers and other outside help. He said he's reinvested most of the money he makes by selling his art in galleries and at auctions. One piece went for more than $35,000 in 2009, and he put that into creating more ambitious projects, and that he would use the TED Prize money for the same purpose. If there's one thing I've always taken care of with my work, it's that it's never an advertisement for anything other than the work itself and for the people it's about. It's not going to be Coca-Cola Presents. And he says, I think the TED people knew that that was one of my main concerns, and I feel pretty sure that we can come up with a project that works that way. The director of the prize said that picking an artist like JR, he's 27 and fiercely protective of his anonymity, identifying himself only by his initials was an unusual choice, but that the prize committee felt that his work could catalyze the whole TED community to support an art-centered philanthropic project, which will be announced at the organization's next conference in March. One of my concerns at first was that he wasn't going to be accessible or available, which could be off-putting when you're trying to get partners to get excited about the project, she added. And in fact, the first time prize officials had a Skype conversation with the artist, he appeared in sunglasses with his hat pulled down low over his forehead. Seems like a modern-day superhero, right? But then he said, you know, I trust you guys, and then he took his sunglasses off, and we just had a regular old conversation, she said. During the interview on Wednesday morning, JR said that he had not been nearly as trusting of some Chinese officials as he and his crew of helpers erect towering pictures of this elderly Shanghai resident on the walls of a neighborhood that is now more than 3/4 demolished. He says, I kept thinking we're going to get into trouble. And he added that anyone he talks to might be an undercover police officer. But then he described an illegal act. He pasted a 20-foot-tall, wrinkled face around the facade of an old water tower that he spotted from the highway. We went into the building next door, and it was empty, and went to the tower, and nobody stopped us, so we just started working, he said. It's crazy. This city is so huge and overgrown. The more you're in the middle of things, the more you feel transparent. So really, that last sentence that he's saying, you know, the city's so huge and overgrown, the more you're in the middle of things, the more you feel transparent. It's like, really, like, is he really in the way of things? If it's that demolished and that ugly and that horrible, is what he's doing, this graffiti, is that really a big crime? You know, but think about some of the countries he's going into in Brazil and China and all over the world. He's kind of all over the place doing this. So, you know, I see graffiti happen here in Los Angeles, and you know what? My problem with graffiti is not because they're just putting it on somebody's building they don't own. It's because it's usually ugly. Like, it's usually just some gang-related, spray-painted initial or something that just takes up a whole wall, and it's like, come on, is that your talent? But then when you see something that's really amazing, you don't feel like it's such a crime because the city's so ugly to begin with. So if somebody does something that's exceptional, nobody seems to want to cover it up or do anything about it because it just made it look better, you know. So, yeah, it's a fine line. Is graffiti art a crime or not? And I really like the idea that this guy was doubling some of his art as roofs for some of these slums. You know, it's like if he can actually take a great big piece of art and make a roof, you know, with some of this vinyl, that's pretty cool too. So I think the fact that he thinks this way, he'll continue to grow it, and I think that's awesome. So in reading the article, I just got thinking, how can our own talents best serve our communities, and do we require this recognition that a lot of people, the main philanthropy kind of people, have required in the past? And I know a lot of the times they do it so that they can get bigger sponsorship. So if there is a name attached and you can get a bigger sponsorship, then you can actually raise more money. And so I do understand that, but do we really require that recognition? Do we know how to be fulfilled by just knowing we did some good, or do we need everyone to know about it? What about the people who have mentored us as individuals? And is there somebody that we can be mentoring? You know, all of this is very inspiring to just give back. What can we be giving back again? And can you be a modern day superhero? The kind which doesn't require that spotlight. So I signed off today painting mustaches on Hollywood billboards, but that's mostly because I'm a brat. So I just wanted to share that article with you, and I have a quote that I also want to share from Helen Hayes that says, "We rely upon artists to articulate what most of us can only feel in joy and sorrow. Whenever I feel my courage wavering, I rush to them. They will give me the wisdom of acceptance, the will and resilience to push on." And I do that a lot with music, with artists. I probably go to them more than I've ever gone to therapists, and I think a lot of you can probably agree with that, that there's something you will put on musically, there's some art that you'll get involved in or whatever you'll do that will usually make you feel better in your day, somebody that can inspire you. And it's usually the artists, and it's usually the musicians, and those are the people in our world who are making the greatest comeback and are coming and helping to heal. And I'm really excited about that. So when I read an article like this, I'm extra excited that a conference like TED is recognizing this. So I wanted to share that article with you today. I hope you guys have an excellent Halloween, whatever you're doing tonight. If you're taking the kids out or whatever, just please be safe, as usual. No drinking and driving, and please be safe. Anything that you guys are doing, all right? So I will talk to you guys again tomorrow, and then until next time, rock on.